Bible Space Time.
The faith that can move mountain.
Do you think the entire universe is placed in a three-dimensional space?
It could, but it doesn't have to be. TV or movie screens are three-dimensional objects, but what you see in the screens are actually two-dimensional, even the 3D movies. Like this, though the universe we can observe is limited to three-dimensional view, it could be placed in the higher dimensional world.
We know that God is omnipresent in time and space, and God created the visible physical world in the space of time. The heavenly kingdom is not founded only on the three-dimensional space, it is a multi-dimensional world, as the heavenly sanctuary connects our world to the higher dimensional world of heaven.
For more information about the space of time, please watch Bible Space Time video 1 and 12.
The three-dimensional directions are not the only ones that are available in the universe. We are made to stand upright, but the heavenly land does not have to be located at the direction above our head. We even positively talk about the possibility of time travel, but we cannot believe that the firmament was a heaven, an expanse, because we simply wonder how an empty space could divide water. But even children know that blowing air into water will form water bubble. The air does not have to have any solid boundary to divide water. Then why can't we believe that God can divide water with a space, as written in the Bible? We need to overcome our three-dimensional assumption.
Jesus said, immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the peoples of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Matthew 24:29-31. In what sense, scientifically, linguistically, or biblically, could the falling stars in these verses be falling angels? Here, Jesus is personally explaining the sign, what is going to happen just before his second coming. He talked about the sun darkening, the moon losing light, and star falling. In what sense you can say that only the star is used as a symbolic word? Why should angels fall on the earth like meteor shower, when Jesus specifically assigned things for them to do at the time? We cannot make a false interpretation of Jesus' words just to justify the false assumption of the theory of solid firmament. If the star supposed to be a symbolic word, then the sun, the moon, the angels, and the earth also have to have symbol. You cannot just pick and decide what should be symbol and what should be real. On the fourth day God created the sun, moon, and stars. Does it mean God created the angel on the fourth day? No. Angels have been already existing before that time.
As a Christian, do you believe that one day, alien will come and attack human? Jesus have never talked about alien attacking the earth. The Antichrist or the false prophets are imitations produced by Satan and evil angels, even though it is certainly possible that one day UFO might appear in the sky and say where they are from and why they came to the earth, but they are not real aliens that we commonly think.
For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:12. It is sure that we are not the only ones living in the universe. There is God, angels, and other people that living in different parts of the universe, such as Enoch, Elijah, and Moses, who already went heaven, and those people who are resurrected on the time of Jesus' death on the cross. Please watch Bible Space Time video number 6, the space time of Jesus' resurrection. But there is no life in the universe that living without God's control. Satan is the one who is making the fake stories of UFOs, and he is the one alluring evil people to make the fake aliens. And one day, Satan will show himself in front of people, and proclaim that he is the one in the story, and he is the Messiah.
Did God create only stars, no planets? It said, God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. He didn't mention anything about planets.
Let's compare the following Bible verses.
To the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 5. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars, for one star different from another star in glory. 1 Thessalonians 15:41.
By comparing these two Bible verses, we can easily find out that Bible writers or translators didn't really choose the term star and planets according to their scientific definitions. So, we cannot say that God only created stars but not planets.
Why did God create Mars or other planets in our solar system uninhabitable?
How are you sure that what we see now is what was created at the time of the creation, where Adam and Eve look like how we look? Were they growing older how we get older? Is the earth supposed to be destroyed by heat or cold in every several million years? No, God created the earth and the universe perfect without any trace of death, even without a concept of death. When we go to heaven, we will be living forever. We don't need to worry about ice age or global warming, because God said so. There will be no more night and no more death. Then why do we say that the condition we see in our solar system is what God created at the time of the creation? After Noah's flood, the earth started to have extreme seasons and weather conditions, and before the Noah's flood there was no dark nights. The night was much brighter than now. That proves that something about the sun, moon or the earth have been changed. Then, why have not the other planets in our solar system? If we believe in God of the Bible, it is not difficult to accept that God created everything beautiful and perfect. If you fully trust somebody, you won't easily misunderstand the person. But, why do we easily misunderstand God and His words? Why is it difficult to trust the Bible as it is written? Do you think that Adam and Eve had to wear a spacesuit every time when they need to travel through the universe? Or did they ever needed to use a spaceship? Did they need to wear an oxygen tank to see the bottom of the water? Did they need to create an airplane to fly with birds? No. But we easily doubt, if God created the universe perfect, and make assumption how the universe should be, and we believe the doubt as a science.
Do you believe that Peter actually walked on the water by faith? If you do, then you are believing that the faith is not just a conviction or an assumption, but is realistic power that can change the physical world, as Peter could subdue the power of the gravity by using faith in Jesus. A scientist might say that this story of Peter is an assumption of faith, and a theologian might define that as interpretation of faith. A psychologist might call it as a mental realization, and a philosopher as a tradition of the Bible. But Christian accepts this is a fact because faith is real. So, as Peter were not born to be able to walk on the water, we can overcome anything using the faith in Jesus.
This is the difference between the faith of Christianity and the assumption of science. Yes, we are created and living in a three-dimensional world. We might be living in different physical condition from other parts of the universe, but there is nothing impossible in the faith of Jesus, which cannot be explained with science. Science says that it is impossible to walk on the water like Peter, so as to follow the footsteps of Jesus. But Peter proved that this assumption is wrong. What is easier, quitting smoking or walking on the water? What is more possible in terms of scientific probability, overcoming inherited mental problem, or walking on the water? Overcoming any addictions, any bad habits, any medical issues, any mental disorders, and confused conditions, are very difficult. But these are not more difficult than walking on the water.
In the story of Peter, Jesus didn't ask Peter to be physically changed like him to walk on the water. The only thing Peter was using was the faith in Jesus, nothing else. Jesus didn't ask those sick people to change the physical condition like him first if they want to be cured. Jesus cured them without any preconditions, except having faith in him. But most Christians do not believe this. Peter's experience is what could happen in real life. That's why we cannot move mountain with faith. We believe that our situations are our destiny. If we are born in certain weakness, we use them as an excuse why we cannot use the faith in Jesus. We know the Bible and we understand the theory of faith, but do not believe in the power of the faith. So we have become to falsely believe that we will be saved even though we do not practice the faith. And we keep telling to ourselves, it is enough to believe just the theory of faith, not the power. We don't have to try to walk on the water like Peter. So we have become a powerless Christian who only can say something but can never perform anything in the power of the faith of Jesus.
Peter could say, yes, I believe, but I am not feeling well, or I am not emotionally stable, or I was not born to do that. Or he could say, that's a good theory, I might try that later. But he believed not only who Jesus was, but also the power of Jesus. Emotion is not a faith yet.
Were you touched by a sermon? Were you moved by the story of Peter? That is not a faith yet. That's what should happen before you practice the faith. Peter should be very impressed and emotionally moved by the words of Jesus. But he didn't stop there, he actually stepped into the water. Do you want to say that Peter was a faithless person just because he actually followed what Jesus told him by walking on the water? Was Peter denying the doctrine of the righteousness by faith because his faith produced a work? Should he just stop at the moment that he was emotionally impressed? Was it a weird and extreme action to actually try walking on the water? Do you feel guilty when you try to overcome your sin? Do you hesitate to pray to Jesus for help in changing your life? If you do, then you need to come out from your own false doctrine of faith. The salvation is in the faith of Jesus who died for us, not in the depth of your emotion or paper registration to a church.
But Peter also failed.
Yes. Peter also failed in his faith. His faith in Jesus didn't go for a long time. As soon as he started to see himself not looking at Jesus constantly, he fell into the water right away. He has once believed in Jesus very strongly, but he failed few minutes later. That shows that having faith once for a moment will not save us permanently. Faith is not a paper agreement and is not believing what we can do. It is what God can do, and it is what God is doing. We do not own anything in us without Jesus.
Faith is not a magical power, a personal conviction, nor believing ourselves. Many educated people say, believe in you, believe what you can do, and achieving what you want to do is your destiny. But no, we cannot do anything by believing ourselves, just like Peter failed. It was the power of Jesus that made Peter walk on the water, not Peter's personal agreement and destiny. Have you ever tried to believe on something but you have failed? Then check if the belief was in the faith in Jesus.
Thank you for watching Bible Space Time.